What is up, YouTube?
Why would you play with me? Why would you lay with me? But you ain't stay with me. Now how it supposed to be my heart.
Alright, before we start this video, I just want to tell y'all to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me on all social medias. Thank you. Okay, let's start from the beginning. I had a doctor's appointment a couple days before I went into labor, and I wanted to get checked, but my original doctor wasn't there, so I really didn't let them check me or whatever. But the last time they checked me, I was only like a centimeter dilated or whatever. But the day before I went into labor, it was July 4th. I went into labor July 5th. Let's see. I really didn't do much. I had wanted to I had already tried castor oil before, but I wanted to do it again. Cause the first time I did it, I was only 36 weeks. And at this time I was 38 weeks. So I was gonna try castor oil again. But I never did. I was gonna wait till the next day to do it or whatever, because we had so much going on July 4th. We had family over and everything. So I just never did it. But July 4th, she moved a lot in the morning time, but when it got towards nighttime, she really didn't move till I got to lay down or whatever. But yeah, so I kind of told my mom, it was she really didn't move today or whatever. And she was like, well, you got a doctor's appointment in a couple of days or whatever. You could just ask them when they go or whatever. Or she was like, if I felt really concerned about it, I could call them or whatever. So I was like, all right, I'll wait till tomorrow, see what she do tonight or whatever. So when I went to bed, it had to be 11, 12 o'clock. So, I'm sitting in my bed, and usually Braxton Hicks they feel like period cramps, kind of slight period cramps, right before your period come on, that kind of, you can feel it, but it's don't hurt at all, whatever. I thought that was how they was gonna feel the contractions. I thought it was just gonna be a little worse or whatever, but no. But like I said, it was 12 o'clock. Then it got I want to say 1. They started getting a little worse, but they wasn't unbearable. So I don't know how I knew, but I just got up and was cleaning my room, was getting my bag together, was, timing them or whatever. And I want to say at the moment, they was they had to be 6-7 minutes apart at the time. 1 o'clock, they was 6-7 minutes apart. So I was walking around, just walking or whatever. I started doing squats and stuff, because, they kind of helped me or whatever, it was helping me concentrate or make it go by faster. But I want to say 1:30, I had called my mom, and she was in the room sleep. Everybody was asleep. She was in the room sleep, and I called her. I was like, can you come to my room? And she was like, why? And I was like, can you just come to my room? So she got up, she came to my room or whatever. And she was like, what's wrong? And I was like, I'm having contractions. She was like, are you for real? How far apart are they? And I was on my phone, I had this app on my phone that time, my contractions. And when she came in there, they was 5-6 minutes apart. They would go back and forth. And so that's when they had started getting worse or whatever. So she was like, do you have all your stuff together? Do you have everything you need, to go to the hospital? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, all right, well, let's get this stuff in the car, like, get dressed or whatever. So I was like, I need to take a shower. So my little sister, she was timing the contractions for me, because on the app, it's like you have to start it and then stop it when it stops. So she was doing that for me. So I was in the shower, and while I was in the shower, I was having contractions. I just kept having contractions. They was like 5 minutes apart. They just kept being 5 minutes apart. So we got all this stuff together. We got all this stuff in the car, and I was waiting on my mom. Like, my mom had done been in and out of my room the whole morning or whatever. And when she first came in the room, she still had pajamas on. Then she went back in the room. She was fully dressed. She had her hair flat ironed and everything. But everybody was ready, you know. Then we was sitting in the living room or whatever, and my mom was like, I need to make me some coffee. And I was like, coffee? Like, coffee? Really? You gotta... If she don't make coffee, like, she don't have a coffee pot. She don't have a automatic coffee thing. Like, she, like, boil water, mix the coffee grounds together, mix the cream and sugar, everything. She do it, like, homemade. But, so she made her a cup of coffee or whatever. And the doctor that I was going to, the hospital that I wanted to give birth at, is an hour away from me. So we got on the road or whatever, and at the time, it had to be like, I want to say like 2:30 when we left the house. Yeah, it had to be like 2:30 when we left the house. So we driving down the road, and she had called my aunt, and my mama car, like, you can hear whoever she on the phone with, like, you can hear it in the car or whatever. So my aunt was asking me, like, how far apart the contractions was and everything. And I was getting so aggravated, but the contractions really started hurting, like, as soon as I got in the car. Like, it was crazy. Like, as soon as I got in the car, they got worse. And when I tell you, them contractions is no joke, there is no joke at all. But, yeah. So, like, before we get on the highway, it's like this super long road. And I guess it's a highway, but, it's 301. 301, it's like a really long road. It goes to, like, Orangeburg. And you gotta get on that road, like, before you can get on the highway going towards Columbia or whatever. So, the whole time we was on that road, my contractions was, like, back to back. And my mama, she was going, like, 100. She had to be going, like, 100. She had emergency lights on and everything. Because it usually take 30 minutes to even get on the highway. And then it take another 30 minutes to get to Columbia. And then it take like 10 minutes from, like, right when you get to Columbia to get to the hospital. But, yeah. Right when we got on the hospital, I want to say we were still like 45 minutes away from the hospital. And my mom, I, like, started having them neighbors coming back to back. And mind you now, I've been in active labor not knowingly for like an hour already. And they was coming, they just kept coming. So, like, I want to say, like, when you're ready to push or whatever, it's like your body pushes for you. Like, I was not knowingly pushing until she was, like, almost about to come out. But, anyway, before I get there, my mama called the police in case we had to stop on the side of the road. She called the police, and the first responder or whatever, she was acting slow. She was acting so slow. And I was getting so mad. Like, everybody was talking. My mama was talking. My aunt was talking. The police was talking. I was just getting so aggravated. But, my mama was like, do you need me to stop? Do you need me to stop? And I was like, no, just get as close as you can to the hospital and let's just try and make it there. And she was like, okay. So she's still driving on the phone with the police, the first responder or whatever. And it was like, where are you at? You know, what's going on? All that. And my mama was explaining the situation. And so the first responder was like, okay, I'm going to get in touch with an ambulance near you and see if they can come to you or whatever in case you stop. So mama was switching back and forth from the police to my aunt or whatever. And when she switched back the second time, the police or the first responder or whatever, she asked literally the same question. She literally asked the same question that she asked the first time. And now that I say that, it kind of makes sense because you like driving, like you're in a different spot than you was. But in my head, I'm thinking like, can't they track the phone? Like, if it was an emergency, couldn't they track to where you at? Like, I remember calling the police, like prank calling the police when I was little, and they pop up like right where you at. But so my mom was on the phone. She was talking to the lady or whatever, and first thing I knew, I snatched the phone from my mom, and I was cussing the lady out. I was like, I'm going into labor. I'm about to have my baby now. We still in the car or whatever. Like, we nowhere near the hospital. So my mom was looking at me like what? We still like at least 40 minutes from the hospital. Like, I want to say like 40, 35 minutes from the hospital. So next thing I knew, I was like, Ma, she's coming. Like, I have to push. My mom was like, don't push. So I was like, I can't hold it. So, yeah, like, I had on my sweatpants. My water had broke like 5 minutes before I gave birth. And my water broke, and I just started like bust out crying. I was so scared because I did not want to give labor in the car. Like, that's literally the scariest thing in the world. Like, nobody is around you. Like, anything could have happened. But, yeah, I had my sweatpants on. I was, like, fully clothed. I had a shirt, a sweater, sweatpants. I had everything on. And as soon as she came out, I felt her come out. It didn't, like, my labor, if you was to ask me my labor pain, it would be like a 7. Not even a 7. Like, pushing wise, it would be like a 6. Yeah, like a 6. A 5 or 6 or whatever. But she came out, and I still had my pants on, and I was like holding her head with my hand, and my mom stopped, and as soon as she got out the car, I just pushed the rest of her out, and I told my mom to pull my pants down, and she was here. My mom grabbed a blanket from the back seat or whatever and covered her up, and we was still on the phone with the first responder or whatever, and we had to drive like an exit ahead from where we was at to meet the ambulance. And then I got in the ambulance, and then when I got to the hospital, like, they had me on a stretcher. We had to go through the emergency part first. Then we went upstairs to the delivery part of the hospital. And they asked me how I was doing, if I was in any pain. I just was like, no. Like, I wasn't in no pain after I gave birth, like, none. I was so shocked. Like, when I got to the hospital, I barely, like, said anything. I was just staring at my daughter the whole time. Like, they took her, well, they couldn't take her because she was still, like, attached, and I hadn't delivered my placenta yet, so they had to cut the cord before they could take her or whatever. And it took them, like, 10 minutes to even cut the cord. Then, They asked me how I was doing. They checked me. I didn't have no tears, no rips, no tears. I didn't have to get no stitches. All I had to do was deliver my placenta. That was it. And then after that, we stayed in there. We stayed in the room like an hour. I want to say like an hour. Then they transferred me to the part where you like go after, I guess, you deliver or whatever. And that was it. We was only in the hospital for a night. I delivered her at 3:20, and we got to the hospital at like 4 something, and that was her first morning at the hospital. Then we spent the night at the hospital, and the next afternoon we left. Like, I wanted to leave. They told me that usually when you have your first baby, they want you to stay like at least 2 nights. But I was feeling fine. My daughter was like literally perfect. Nothing was wrong with her. And I didn't have no stitches or nothing, so I didn't feel the need to stay. I just had really wanted to go home. But yeah, that's my labor and delivery story. Like I said, like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me on all social medias.